Folks, welcome back to the show. This is Craig Shelton. You are watching The Cut right here on UTN 15.2. And we want to say thanks to those of you that made the move with UTN and the network from 48.3 to 15.2. Now, I'm proud to say, I promised you folks earlier that I have a special, and when I say special guest, I mean special in so many different ways. One way is because he's been a mentor to me. Another way is because he's been a friend to me. And another way is because he's so damn crazy, I just got to say special.
I'm so damn crazy?
Well,
you got a lot of room to talk, okay, about being crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Warner. That's at Bear Warner on Twitter. Bear, how you doing, man?
At Bear Warner.
At Bear Warner.
Because you know, I'm just a big cuddly teddy bear.
No doubt about that.
But right now, I feel like this big cuddly teddy bear has been trampled by the Rams, who went up and down the field, and by 70,000, or probably by about 60,000 people, because I've never seen more empty seats in a regular season game than I saw today.
And that's what we'll get us started today, folks, with my man Barry Warner, is we'll talk about the Texans 38-13 defeat right here at Reliance Stadium to the St. Louis Rams. Now, let's be frank. The St. Louis Rams are a NFL football team, contrary to rumor and what you heard all week throughout the Houston media. They can do some things well, and they did a lot of things well today. And those penalties that Barry alluded to was also a big help to what they did today. The Texans falling over their own feet. So Barry, let's get it started here. And what I did was I was really perplexed as I got ready to leave the Texans press box, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to go straight and get sound from Gary Kubiak at the podium, or if I wanted to go to the Texans locker room. And then something kicked me in the back of the head and said, what are you going to get from the Texans after a loss like this? You know what you're going to get.
Sort of like the GOP and the Democrats debating about the shutdown of the government.
So my mind said, go to the Rams locker room. Let's go ask the Rams what they saw. Yeah, what did they see in the eyes of the Houston Texans? And I saw you over in the Rams locker room doing your thing as well. Barry, how in the world does any team come back from where the Texans find themselves? It's not just about the 2-4 record. It's mentally.
Right.
It's going to war with a quarterback that you don't have confidence in. The players can't tell me they do. And he doesn't appear to have confidence in himself.
Well, look, a change of scenery is what has to happen with Matt. Quarterbacks to me are like goalies in hockey and like Brad Lidge. Sometimes they got to move on, and all of a sudden, the play that you couldn't make in your hometown where you got booed out of, you're making. There are a lot of teams in the National Football League, flaws and all, that would love to have a matchup. He made a play today, or tried to make a play, Craig, where he could have run for a first down.
I saw that.
And I'm not knocking him. He is what he is. You and I both are follically challenged. He can't run. No. And you know what? That's not going to change. So you have to accept that as a fact. But today, I have a message to each and every one of you sickos out there that cheered when Matt Schaub got down. I would give you what I would have to, but Craig told me I had to put my hands behind my back. So I'm going to look in the camera and say, get a life. This is a man trying to feed his family. That's all he is. He's a man with 3 kids. Hey, you don't know if the MRIs revealed that he's done for the season.
Or career.
You don't know that. But he wasn't out there trying to hand the game to them. He did an excellent job today within the limitations of what Matt Schaub can do. However, his brain-dead teammates making penalty after penalty. Gary said in the press conference when I asked him, well, it's on me. I got to do a better job. BS, Gary. It's on each and every individual player. A player is a professional. And when you go to work as a professional tomorrow morning, when other people go to work as professionals in this great city, they're not expected to make dumb mistakes.
No, and not keep their jaws, folks. Barry Warner joining us right here on The Cut. Matt Schaub with 186 yards passing on the day. Of course, he was injured and left the game, did not return. Arian Foster, 20 carries for 141 yards. I'm in total agreement with you, Barry, in regards to Texan fans and how they have behaved. I think being emotional as a fan is totally acceptable, and we talked about that last week on the show. But you don't want to become Cleveland. You know, you don't want to be known as a fan base. Excuse me, folks. As a fan base that behave the way we saw Texan fans behave today. Those are things that we've heard historically about Philadelphia and surely Houston, Texas. We don't want to be grouped in anything in regard to being fans that would identify with the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's move on from that. Barry, I talked to Sam Bradford in the locker room as well as you did too. And one thing I asked Sam was, and I want to discuss these two issues with you. I asked Sam, I said, Sam, at what point of the ball game did you look across the line at the Texans, at your opponents, and come to the understanding that you and your teammates collectively felt like, we got them, they're done, they've quit? And he said, he wasn't specific, but he said, well, in the third quarter. Is it ever appropriate for an opposing quarterback to look at you on defense, no matter what the score is, and see body language or effort that says, we're done?
I can't say appropriate. I would just say it is what it is. It's a dose of reality. This team, it boggles my mind. But if you want to synthesize a few things about what's happened on the defense, there are 3, 4, and 5 hitters. If this was a baseball series like we're enjoying right now, well, actually, it's the NCAA dance with all of these wild cards. But nonetheless, it's your 3, 4, and 5 hitters going 2 for 21 with leaving runners on base. There's a lack of big plays. The big plays are absent. They're absent. Cushing had one big play this year, okay? Brooks Reed hasn't. Merciless today was absent. And oh, by the way, I just got a text. I got a text from the Texas Rangers, alrighty? Not the baseball team, but the guys with the funny hats that, those black and
they visited me before.
They put your hands on the deal. They just found Antonio Smith, because he ain't been anywhere except on TV for clips, alrighty? He hasn't needed to get his jersey, even cleaned after the last, and I love Antonio.
He's an interesting guy.
But you got to back up your BS, and he did not do it. Before the game, and this is one great example why I have not made a bet since 1965, I texted a friend of mine, and I said the Texans have never been looser. And I've been around a lot of football teams that if I had to bet, I'd be sleeping under a bridge tonight because I'd have lost the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought that they were going to come out and rise to the challenge and kick booty. But they got out-physicaled. And when's the last time that you can say the Texans were out-physical? That's number one. Number two, sad but true, Ed Reed can't play. He just can't play. He's just another guy. He couldn't play 2 years ago. The Texans made an error in judgment.
And letting Glover Quinn get out of Houston
Because
for almost identical money.
what they lost there was a thumper. They lost the guy who could come up and make the play at the line, in the box. Number two, they lost a guy that on a pass pattern could hit a guy and make him cough it up. So those are two things.
Folks, this is Barry Warner. Barry Warner is, I should say, the legendary Barry Warner, because Barry Warner has been around this town keeping it, as Big Richard Walker said, 200, not 100. Barry keeps it 200, folks. I'll tell you, I want to do something else. I want to keep going, because there was another question I asked Sam Bradford, and for most people, if they were friends with a person or had a relationship with a family like you do, with the Phillips family, Bum Phillips and Wade Phillips and those guys, but you know a lot of people in this town. But I asked Sam Bradford, I asked him if there was anything that happened on defense, particularly in maybe in third down situations, that he came out of it thinking, that's a new wrinkle. We weren't quite prepared for that. And he said no. We got to start looking at Gary Kubiak. We got to start questioning Wade Phillips. I don't know what the verdict is, but your thoughts on that?
The verdict to me is players have to make plays. That's it. Players have to make plays. And I tape every game, and I go back and I look at it. Then I look at the NFL Rewind on Wednesday. And the eye in the sky don't lie. If guys can't get off blocks, Alrighty? If guys cannot make plays and go one way, and then it's not on the coach, it's on the individual players. Look, Craig, one of the two biggest differences in the last 20 years are the owners don't give a damn about the product they put right here on the field. If they could get 53 guys from the unemployment line and put them in helmets and shoulder pads, they could care less. I mean, you got games on Thursday, you got games in London. You know, when are they going to have the first game on the North Pole if some Eskimos want to bid up, to have a game there?
Eskimos, you just heard the coolest damn Jew in Houston.
You got that.
Drop a Eskimo NFL reference.
It's better than an F-bomb, isn't it?
Please, Barry, don't drop an F-bomb.
But the second thing is the wussification of the league. That this is an offense-oriented league.
Yes, it is.
Okay?
Yes, it is.
And they've taken defensive coordinators and schemes, and they tied them behind their back. Let me tell you something. Schemes don't win football games. Players win football games, and they do it out there. They don't do it on a blackboard. But the one big thing that has happened since you got into the business, and this is only my 53rd year covering the NFL, but the amount of time that these kids spend in a classroom watching tape, and they're quizzed on a Saturday night, there should never be a mental mistake. But there are not enough football players, thanks to expansion, and I'm talking on both sides of my mouth here. We, because of expansion, have something to do on a Sunday, but there are not enough good players to go around. So you got a lot of guys who wear the right cues in the back of their jersey, and they throw them out there, and they try to hope and pray that they don't get exposed.
So we sit here now in the Texans season with the Texans going up against Kansas City, a team that's a much improved team from last year. They've got a coach that they can believe in that has a pedigree, a record of success.
Right.
That's a team that sent 3 linebackers to the Pro Bowl last season.
Right.
That's a team that has Donterius Poe now playing like he was expected to play when he was drafted in the first round by this team. This is a team that can run the football with a top 5 running back and a quarterback that won't necessarily beat you, but he won't beat himself very often either.
You know what? It's still the National Football League. And if ever there was a must-win for this team, but let me tell you what's going to happen. If they beat Kansas City and they knock off the mighty unbeaten Chiefs, okay?
Then go to the bye week after that.
Into the bye week with false expectation and false hopes. So then what will happen here on Sunday night, on the 3rd of November, right out here, there will be a large, giant egg, okay? Bigger than the Colorado Rockies that will be laid here once again with Al Michaels and Chris Collingsworth saying, this was going to be one of our premier games? I'm just calling it like it is. You know, look, if I seem like I'm on a rant, if I seem like I'm a little bit more emotional than normal.
No, this is pretty much par.
Well, no, I'm more emotional because I got friends of mine whose careers are on the line.
No doubt about that.
And you don't like to see good people lose their job. It's an occupational hazard. It's a risk-reward deal when you get into it. Coaching in the National Football League is like working for the old Red Adair. Okay? You get paid millions, you get paid obscene amount of money because there ain't a lot of people with a brain in their head that are going to go into it. But to have families move as much as they do and to have you be called stupid and ridiculed by the social media and try to hold your dignity and your head up high, well, you know it isn't all on you, and you're not going to say, but if the front office did that, or if this player did that, and the public doesn't know that this guy couldn't spell cat if you gave him a C and a T in a litter box, those are the occupational hazards of it.
Let's talk a little bit about NFL quarterback wish list prophecies being fulfilled. Everyone wanted to see Matt Shaw replaced by T.J. Yates. Many people would like to see him replaced by Case Keenum. Well, today Matt Shaw goes down, and my man T.J. Yates gets his opportunity, throws a pick 6. Just Even on passes he completed, a lot of them were high or wide. He didn't have great accuracy, never has had great accuracy. He can do some things with his feet to get outside the pocket, but what good is a quarterback outside the pocket that doesn't have an accurate arm?
Comes out of his arm quicker, alrighty? I'll give him that. But he's a second-year player. I know it says 3 on the roster, but he didn't do anything last year, okay? And as much as I love Case Keenum, if Case Keenum played at Syracuse, North Carolina, if he played at Nebraska, there would not be this public outcry. Putting Case Keenum in right now, he's got a lot of pea and vinegar, he's got a lot of rah-rah, and that only takes you so far, okay?
But if it comes down to Case Keenum or T.J. Yates, take Matt Chubb out of the equation.
Well, T.J. Yates has to play himself out of the job.
Well, let's be honest. Let's get your opinion. How long would that take?
If he plays more games like today, it won't take too terribly long. But the fact of the matter is this, and this is a subject for another face-to-face debate with you and me, okay?
Let's do it.
I am not saying right now that it's written in stone the Texans have to draft a quarterback in the very first round, okay? I am telling you that if it were me, if Rick Smith ever returned a phone call to me, and there's a greater chance, once again, of hair growing on both of our heads, then what I would be doing, Craig, and I'm looking right in here to tell you that I would very simply be doing as many cut-ups as I could of guys who will not be in their present franchise. Guys like Christian.
Go for the veteran guy in free agency.
Have a veteran guy, then bring the kid. You can get him whether it's the 3rd round, the 6th round. There are other problems that this franchise has.
Let's tie this segment up, because that Texas ground crew, as you can hear in the background, is getting mighty close. And just hang in there, folks. We'll be right back with more. It's The Cut with my man, the Jew from the hood.
Right. Roses are red, violets are blue. It's the honky in the hood saying good night to you.
We'll be right back.